Good afternoon, everybody. This is Venkat from Dubai, and it is a great pleasure to have you all for the Sampurna Shiksha accounting and tally learning. The one of the most important area of employment generation happens in the accounting field, and every organization should maintain accounts. So this learning will definitely help people to take accounting as a profession, and definitely we are looking forward that all of you learn a lot and take it as a profession.
Congratulations, Sampurna Shiksha team, on starting this accounting tally program. A very important skill tool for the generation. Any age, any bracket can learn this. Use it even for personal, professional, companies. It's a very good tool. Thank you to the presenter and thank you to the trainer. All the best to take these sessions forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Okay. I would now like to give you, you can share the screen.
Of accounting. Before I start today's session, I would like to thank Sampurna Shiksha and Jito Mumbai Zone for providing us with this opportunity to take on these sessions. So let's move on with the session. So what are the topics today we'll be covering? Like the topics are definitions of accounting. Then next one is economic events. Next topic will be identification, measurement, recording, and communication. Later on, we'll be dealing with the organization. After that, it will be interested users of information. And at last, we'll be dealing with basic terms in accounting. So let's move on. And the first topic is definition of accounting. Now, many of you may think, "Arey baap re, isne pehle hi definition bol diya." So don't worry about it. Definition becomes easy when you break it into parts. जैसे आप किसी definition को break करते जाते हैं, so वो easy होता जाता है. Like मैंने यहाँ पर बहुत सारे important words को highlight किया है, जैसे इस definition में recording हो, और classifying, summarizing, और आप देख सकते हैं कि in terms of money, और उसके बाद में एक रेड कलर में टर्म है financial character. तो एक बार इस definition को हम आराम से पढ़ लेते हैं. What it states is accounting is the art of recording, classifying, and summarizing in a significant manner, and in terms of money, transactions, and events which are in part at least of a financial character, and interpreting the results thereof. मतलब अब ये definition क्या कहता है? Like हमें वही transaction record करना है जिसे हम पैसे के जरिए record कर सकते हैं. अब वो transaction जिससे you can those transactions which you cannot measure in terms of money, you cannot record those transactions. You should record only those transactions which you can record in terms of money. And the last word deals with interpreting the result thereof. What does it mean? Interpreting the result thereof. Whenever, for example, if you think you are writing an exam, if you write exam just to know the result, like what is your preparation and how many marks you have gained. So everyone are interested in knowing the result, right? So even if you are carrying on a business, you are interested to know the result, whether it is profit or loss. So basic intention of accounting is to know the results of the firm. So next we have one more definition. It's a little bit simple from the previous. Here I would identify some major terms in this definition, like identifying, measuring, recording, and communicating. And one more we have economic events, organization, and we have interested users. Now don't worry about these terms. We'll be dealing with these terms individually. Like उसके बाद आने वाले स्लाइड में हम यह सभी टॉपिक्स को एक के बाद एक पढ़ने वाले हैं. So let's move on with this. See, मैंने कहा था पहले वाले डेफिनेशन में बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट टर्म्स है, जैसे इकोनॉमिक इवेंट्स, आइडेंटिफिकेशन, मेजरमेंट, रिकॉर्डिंग, कम्युनिकेशन, ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, इंटरेस्टेड यूजर्स ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन. ये सभी डेफिनेशन देखिए इस स्लाइड में वो हाईलाइटेड हुआ था. तो इन सभी टर्म्स को हम एक के बाद एक इन डिटेल पढ़ेंगे. So next one is economic events. What is an economic event now? All those events which can be measured in terms of money are economic events. जैसे आप एक बिजनेस कर रहे हैं, मानो मेरा एक दुकान है. I have a grocery shop. Daily morning I go there at 9 a.m. I open the gate. I enter into the premises. I open the shutter of my shop. I switch on the lights. Later, customer comes. I sell the goods. Now, will I record all the transaction, all the activity that I have taken? Will I record? I have opened the door of my business. I have switched on the lights. I have switched on the fan. No, I will only record those transactions which involves money. Like later, I sell the goods to my customer. That one I will record. I will not record not record unnecessary transactions which does not involve money. So you will, whenever a transaction occurs, you need to identify which are the economic transactions and which are not the economic transactions. Yeah, economic transactions, we have two types of economic events, like external event and internal event. अगर आप सोचिए एक बिजनेस के बारे में सोच रहे हैं तो दो इवेंट हो सकता है. लाइक एक बिजनेस के अंदर ही ट्रांजैक्शंस हो सकते हैं और बिजनेस के बाहर के व्यक्ति से आप ट्रांजैक्शन कर सकते हैं. जैसे मेरा एक बिजनेस है तो मैं अपने एम्प्लॉयज को सैलरी पे कर सकता हूँ और एक्सटर्नल सेल्स और परचेजेस भी कर सकता हूँ. सो अपने एम्प्लॉयज को जो मैं सैलरी देता हूँ वो इंटरनल इवेंट हो जाता है. जो बाहर के व्यक्ति से जो मैं ट्रांजैक्शन करता हूँ वो एक्सटर्नल इवेंट हो जाता है. सो लेट्स लुक इनटू इट separately. Like we have external event. Like external events are event that involves transaction with an outsider. All those events which involves an outsider who is an outsider to your business entity are the external events. You can look into the examples like sale of goods to the customers. We have rendering of services to the customers, purchase of materials from customers. All this transaction involves person who is an outsider to your business organization. So these are the external events. And next one is internal events. As I have said previously, like economic event that involves internal wings of an enterprise are the internal event, like supply of material from one department to another. For example, if I have a business, अगर मेरा एक business है तो दो डिपार्टमेंट हो सकते हैं, लाइक परचेज डिपार्टमेंट एंड प्रोडक्शन डिपार्टमेंट. अगर परचेज डिपार्टमेंट से प्रोडक्शन डिपार्टमेंट को कोई प्रोडक्ट ट्रांसफर हो जाता है तो वो इंटरनल इवेंट हो जाता है. और अगर मैं अपने एम्प्लॉयज को सैलरी देता हूँ तो वो इंटरनल इवेंट हो जाता है, क्योंकि बाहर का कोई व्यक्ति इन्वॉल्व नहीं है. सिर्फ हमारे एंटिटी के अंदर की व्यक्ति को ही हम ट्रांजैक्शन करते हैं. So next important term that was used in the definition was identification, measurement, recording, and communication. So now let us look into each and every terms. So what is identification? Identification means determining what are the transaction to record. As I said in the previous example, if I have a shop, daily morning at 9 a.m. I go to the shop, I open the gate, I will switch on the light, I switch on the fans, then I sell the goods to the customers. So I will not record those transactions like opening of the shutter or opening the gate, switching on the light. I will not record those transactions. I will record only transactions which involves monetary terms and where I involve money is involved. So it is important to identify the transaction which are to be recorded. So identification the process where you identify what are the transactions to be recorded and what are the transactions that are not to be recorded. See, I have 2 points here. A transaction like human resources, or you may appoint a new employee to your organization. You will not record that transaction in your books of accounts because it's not a monetary transaction. It have nothing to do with your books of accounts. For example, timing of my business timing was 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. So now I have changed it timing from 9 to 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. I will be carrying on my business. So I will not record this in my books of accounts because it has nothing to do with my financial character. And you can look into the second point that when a company makes a sale or purchase, whether on cash or credit, pays salary, it involves money. So it's important for us to record it in the books of account. And the next point is measurement. You can clearly see the picture about a person counting the notes. What do you mean by measurement? It's nothing but quantifying a transaction in terms of money. For example, if you sell 100 tons of finished goods to a customer, you have to measure it in terms of money. You cannot write in a books of accounts that I have sold 100 tons of material. I am sold 1,000 units of material. I have sold 100 pens. You cannot record like that. You have to record what is the worth of the material that you have sold. You will be recording only those material which has a worth. You will be record worth of the material which you have sold. जैसे अगर आप कोई मटेरियल बेचते हैं तो उसी अमाउंट को रिकॉर्ड करेंगे, उसी अमाउंट में रिकॉर्ड करेंगे, आप उसके क्वांटिटी में रिकॉर्ड नहीं करेंगे. जब भी अगर आप 100 यूनिट्स पेन सेल करते हैं तो आप उसके वर्थ को रिकॉर्ड करेंगे. लाइक मैंने 1000 रुपीज का पेन सेल किया, आप ऐसे नहीं लिखेंगे कि अकाउंट्स में मैंने 100 पेन सेल किया. So it's important for you to measure the value of monetary value of the transaction. And the next one is recording. You can clearly see in the picture. Now you have identified the transaction which has to be recorded. You have measured it in terms of money. Now your ultimate task is to record it. How will you record? You will record in monetary terms, as I said before. And you can see one more term, chronological order. What does it mean? You have to record the transaction in a chronological way. In the sense, you have to record the transaction date-wise. Like if you have sold the goods on 1st July, you have to record on 1st July itself. Like date should be 1st July in your books of account. If you have sold the material on 2nd July, you have to record it like I have sold the materials on 2nd July. You cannot write the transactions which have taken place on 2nd July on 1st and mention the date it as 1st July, and you cannot interchange. You have to record it in a systematic manner. जब भी आप किसी भी कोई ट्रांजैक्शंस करते हैं तो आपको डेट के हिसाब से उसे रिकॉर्ड करना पड़ेगा. आप डायरेक्टली उसे जैसे भी होगा वैसे नहीं लिख सकते, आपको क्रोनोलॉजिकली लिखना पड़ेगा. And final thing is communication. Now, what do you mean by communication? If you have, for example, you think you have a business. Now, can you made a profit of 100 lakh. So, how will you communicate it to the users? Will you put a sound system outside your business entity and make an announcement that I have made a profit of 100 crore? No, right? You will. What you will do is you will have a proper systematic books of accounts and you will submit it to the shareholders. So communication is nothing but informing the stakeholders that about the condition of your business. So one more thing is accounting information system should be designed in such a way that right information is communicated to the right person at the right time. Whenever you communicate information, it should be right, it should be reach the right person, and it should reach at the right time. And the next one is organization. We have seen the third point in that definition was organization. Organization is nothing but a business enterprise for running for a profit or not for profit motive. It includes sole proprietorship, partnership, company, trust, etc. आप जो भी बिजनेस एंटिटी को बाहर से देखते हैं और उसी को ऑर्गेनाइजेशन कहा जाता है. And the last one is interested users of information. Who are interested in your entity? Those who invest in your entity are interested, and those who don't invest in your entity are also interested in your entity. So let's look into that. Who are interested in the business entity? We have users of information. They are external users and internal users. So who are the internal users? Internal users of information are maybe chief executive officers, financial officers, business unit managers, plant managers, store managers, line supervisors are the internal users of the financial information. Why does the internal users need the financial information? Like, why do they need what is the profit your business has made, what is the expenses, what is the expenses that the business is incurring? Why do they need that? They need it because to take the decision about the forthcoming period, because you cannot take decisions without looking into the facts. जब भी आप कोई डिसीजन लेते हैं, आप देखते हैं पिछले बार क्या हुआ था, हमने क्या किया था, इसके वजह से क्या हो सकता है. सो यू नीड इंफॉर्मेशन टू टेक डिसीजन. आप वैसे ही कोई डिसीजन नहीं ले सकते, आपको इंफॉर्मेशन की जरूरत होती है. सो इंटरनल यूजर्स आर द पीपल हु नीड इंफॉर्मेशन टू टेक डिसीजंस. एंड नाउ लेट अस लुक इनटू हु आर द एक्सटर्नल यूजर्स. एक्सटर्नल यूजर्स कौन होते हैं? अब भी आप सोच रहे होंगे कि बाहर के व्यक्ति को हमारी इंफॉर्मेशन क्यों चाहिए? बाहर के व्यक्ति मतलब टैक्स अथॉरिटीज भी आ सकते हैं. टैक्स अथॉरिटीज को हमारी इंफॉर्मेशन क्यों चाहिए? उन्हें चाहिए कि हमने इस साल में प्रॉफिट कितना अर्न किया, टैक्स कितना लगेगा. इसलिए टैक्स अथॉरिटीज को भी आपकी इंफॉर्मेशन जरूरत पड़ सकती है. और शेयर होल्डर्स, जिसने भी आपके बिजनेस में पैसा लगाया है, उसे ये पता होना चाहिए कि आपके बिजनेस कैसे चल रहा है, क्या चल रहा है, आपके पैसे का वैल्यू क्या है, और बिजनेस का करेक्ट market position क्या है. They need to know what is the business position of your business. So the external users also need the information. And one more external user may be the banks. They give loans to you. They need to know the financial credibility. They need to know your financial credibility, your repayment ability. So external users also need financial information. So we have learnt about the major terms of the definition. So now we'll be dealing with the basic terms that are used in accounting.
Okay, 1 second. You can just take a breather. Pushpa, can you speak? I'll just tell Pushpa to summarize till here. For those participants who are not able to hear the voice, I would suggest them to shift to Facebook Live. Everything is clear there. Maybe there might be some issues with your Zoom, or the setting is not proper on your end. And if you are using earphones, the voice is clearly audible. Okay, thank you. Pushpa, over to you. Unmute. Yeah.
Okay, everybody. Now, till now, what we have studied, एक संक्षेप में बता देती हूँ जो भी हमने अभी अपेक्ष ने हमको बताया है. Those who have, just to brief you what has been told now. So he told first the definition of accounting. Definition of accounting को उसने अच्छी तरह से he divided into various parts. So there he told you it is an economic event. Then you have to identify the event. You have to measure the event in terms of money, and then it is also you have to tell about he told you about the interested users and the basic terms that he will be taking later. So definition में उसने क्या बताया कि हमको जो भी हम लोग जो ट्रांजैक्शन करते हैं उसको रिकॉर्ड करना चाहिए, और रिकॉर्ड करने के लिए वही ओनली दोज ट्रांजैक्शंस जो बिजनेस में इन्वॉल्व होते हैं उसी को हम रिकॉर्ड करेंगे. जो बिजनेस में इन्वॉल्व नहीं होते हैं उसको सब हम रिकॉर्ड नहीं करेंगे. और कैसे रिकॉर्ड करेंगे? पहले हम उसको क्लासिफाई करेंगे. क्लासिफाई करने के बाद हम उसको समराइज करेंगे. समराइज करके हम उसे मॉनेटरी टर्म्स में उसको लाएंगे. उसको जो whatever is the value of that particular transaction, उसका मॉनेटरी टर्म्स में हम उसको रिकॉर्ड करेंगे. तो इस तरह से उसने बताया कि इकोनॉमिक इवेंट्स को हम आइडेंटिफाई करके उसको ट्रांजैक्शन को हम रिकॉर्ड करेंगे. तो और वो कैसे करना चाहिए? हमको एक ऑर्गेनाइज्ड मैनर में करना चाहिए, क्यों कुछ ऊपर नीचे नहीं करना चाहिए. इट शुड बी इन अ क्रोनोलॉजिकल ऑर्डर and it should be in a particular manner in which it has to be done. And he also told economic events दो टाइप के होते हैं. एक्सटर्नल इवेंट्स होते हैं और इंटरनल इवेंट्स होते हैं. एक्सटर्नल इवेंट्स वो होते हैं जो हम बाहर की व्यक्ति के साथ बिजनेस करते हैं, जैसे सेल्स, परचेज, वैसे। और इंटरनल है जो हम अपने बिजनेस में, हम अपने लिए अपने बिजनेस में करते हैं, जैसे वेजेस, पेमेंट ऑफ वेजेस, सप्लाइंग ऑफ रॉ मटेरियल्स, चेंजेस इन पॉलिसीज, हाउ इट विल अफेक्ट, वो सब हमारा इंटरनल इवेंट्स होते हैं। देन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन क्या होता है? ऑर्गेनाइजेशन वो होता है जो प्रॉफिट और नॉन प्रॉफिट मेकिंग दोनों हो सकते हैं इवेंट्स, यानी हम व्हाट टाइप ऑफ बिजनेस हम करते हैं, सोल प्रोप्राइटरशिप या पार्टनरशिप या एलएलपी, जो भी है वो हमारा ऑर्गेनाइजेशन होता है। और ये ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में इंटरनल जो काम करते हैं ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के लिए, पार्टनर्स है, सीईओज है, वो सब यूनिट मैनेजर्स होते हैं। और एक्सटर्नल में इन्वेस्टर्स है, बैंकर्स है, क्रेडिट जो हमको देते हैं वो सब रहते हैं। अभी आगे जाके हम अकाउंटिंग में वेरियस टाइप्स ऑफ टर्म्स हम यूज करते हैं, जैसे एसेट्स, लायबिलिटीज, डेटर्स, क्रेडिटर्स, सेल्स, परचेज, कैपिटल। अब इस सब का अर्थ क्या है, इस सब का मीनिंग क्या है और कहाँ पे इसको यूज करना है, ये आगे हमको अपेक्ष सिखाएंगे। ओवर टू यू।
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. So let's begin with the next part of our today's session, that is basic terms in accounting. So hope I am audible. Okay. So the first term is entity. As I have stated in the previous definition, entity means a business enterprise. We have looked in the previous definition. We had a term called organization. So entity and the organization is one and the same. Entity means a reality that has a definite individual existence, means same as organization. Organization and entity are one and the same. So the next term is transaction. What is a transaction? For example, think I'm a person, I go to a shop, I purchase a book. So is it a transaction or not? So yes, it is a transaction because it involves money. I go to a shop, I pay him 20 rupees, I purchase a book. It gives a value to me and value to the seller. I have paid him 20 rupees, I got a book. So it is a transaction. You can look into the example like a purchase of goods, receipt of money, payment to a creditor, incurring of expense. Everything is transaction. So next term is asset. So what is an asset? You may have heard it's a common word in accounting, that is asset. Assets are the economic resources an enterprise that can be usually expressed in terms of money. So what is an asset? For example, you have a building, it is an asset. You have a plant and machinery, it is an asset. You have a land, it is an asset. You have creditors, debtors, it's an asset for you. So what is an asset? Asset gives you the monetary income. For example, if I own a vehicle, I can give it for a rent and I can earn an income. So if I have a building, I can give it for a rent and it gives me income. So assets are those economics resources which gives you an return. By using an asset, you can earn an income. That's it's called as asset. So assets are of two types: current assets and non-current assets. So let's look into the bifurcation of assets, that is current assets and non-current assets. You can see in the picture. Non-current asset involves furniture, vehicles, furniture and fittings, land and land, machinery, building. These are those assets which I tend to use for a period of more than 12 months. It's not that if I purchase a vehicle or building, I will sell it in within 2 or 3 months. It's not like that. I purchase it, I keep it for some years, I use it, I reap the benefit of those assets, and later on I will sell those assets. So it's a non-current assets are those assets which are generally be intended to be used for more than 12 months. So now let's come into current assets. So what are current assets? Current assets are opposites of non-current. Like they are intended to be used within a period of 12 months. For example, if I have a inventory or stock, I have a I'm a dealer. For example, I think I'm a dealer in vegetable. So I purchase vegetable, within a week I sell it off. So I not use it for a period of more than not keep it with me for a period of more than 12 months. So current assets are those assets which are generally intended to be used within a period of 12 months. So now let's look into liabilities. Assets and liabilities are like brothers and sisters. They come together, right? Assets are the which brings resources into the entity, and liabilities are those obligations which you have to pay in a future period. Liabilities are those obligations or debts that an enterprise has to pay in at some time in future. You may defer it for some time, but you have to pay it in the future. So just like the assets, we have liabilities are also divided into two parts: current liabilities and non-current liabilities. Current liabilities are those liabilities which we have to pay within a period of 12 months, and non-current liabilities are those liabilities which we can defer the payments, and payment can be deferred beyond the period of 12 months. So let's look into the example. Non-current liabilities, we have bank loan. It's not that whenever you take a bank loan, you pay it within a period of, you may pay, but you generally it not be paid within a period of 12 months. It will be paid after 12 months. So they are non-current liabilities. Current liabilities, we mean creditor. For example, you go to a shop, you purchase an item of nearby your house. You go to a shop, you purchase an item of 50 rupees, but you have 40 rupees with you. So you say the shopkeeper that I'll pay 10 rupees later. So that 10 rupees you will pay within a period of to arrange the employees. I have to pay the employees. I have to purchase the assets, like I have to I have to purchase furniture, vehicles to carry on my business. So I need a money at the beginning of the business. And the money invested by me to start a business is known as capital. Amount invested by the owner in the firm is known as capital. So if you look into the next paragraph, you have two terms like it may be brought in the form of cash, or the asset, or may be brought in the form of other assets. So how can I bring a capital in the form of other assets? Think I am starting a business with three of my friends. So we four of my people, I have brought the capital in the form of asset, and other three of my friends have brought in the capital in the form of cash. And the next term used in a basic term is sale. What is a sale? It's a general term that we use in a normal course of in our normal day-to-day life. It's we regularly speak about sales, purchase, sale, purchase. We speak about it. So there is not much complicated about it. Sales are the total revenue from the goods or services sold or provided to the customers. Think the vegetable business that I and my friends are carrying on. What we do is we purchase the vegetables from farmers, and what we do is we sell it to the buyers. So what the revenue that we generate by selling those vegetables are the sales, are it's also called as sales revenue. I can make sales either by cash or on credit. Like I can sell the vegetable to customer person A, and he may pay me the cash at the point of time. I may sell the vegetable to person B, and he may pay me the money after a few days. So it's termed as credit sale. So the next one is revenue. So revenue is the amount the business earned by selling its products or by providing services to its customers. So now what is the difference between sales and revenue? So sale is nothing but an income earned by selling its core products. Revenue includes income earned by selling its core products plus the revenue incurred, the revenue amount received by some other activities. Like I may get some commissions while dealing with the day-to-day activities. I may get some discount. So these are the indirect incomes that I generate. See? So sales plus other incomes is my revenue. So what are the expenses? Expenses are the cost incurred by the business in the process of earning revenue. So take our vegetable business. Think in a year we purchase vegetables of worth rupees 10 lakh. To purchase the vegetable, we need to go to the farmers. So we may incur traveling expense, and after while purchasing the vegetable, we have to pay to the farmer. After paying the farmer, we have to load the vegetables to our truck. So we have to pay the loading charges to the labor. After loading, the truck comes to our business place. So there we have to pay uh, uh, rent to the truck person. So after that, we have to once again unload the vegetables. So there we have to pay to the labor. So we will incur the expense throughout the business, throughout this process. So after that, I brought the vegetables of worth 10 lakh. I incurred other expenses of 15 lakh, 5 lakh. So total expenses is 15 lakh. Later, I sell it for 20 lakh. So in order to earn the revenue of 20 lakh, I had to incur an expense of 15 lakh. So in order to earn a revenue of 20 lakh, I had to pay a money of 15 lakh. So the expense cost incurred to earn the revenue is known as expense. The general items of expenses are wages, salaries, interest, telephone charges, etc. So the one more term is expenditure. So what it is a little bit confusing term, because we have expense, we have expenditure. See, let's go into it. Expenditure is also the spending money or incurring a liability for some benefit. By spending the money, you will get some benefit. If I go and pay to the shopkeeper, he will give me something. So in order to receive a benefit, I need to pay. So you can pay it in a two way. Like if you go and pay to to buy a book, what generally happens is whenever I buy a book, I tend to use it within a period of 1 year. So same money, I go and I purchase a computer. It's not that I use a computer within a period of 1 year, because I may use it for many years. So in both the cases, I have incurred the expense, but I have acquired different things. In the first case, I have acquired a resource which I will be using it within a period of 12 months. In the second scenario, I have purchased an item which I will be using for a period more than 12 months. So this is the general bifurcation of expense and expenditure. The amount incurred for buying a material which the benefit of which is exhausted within a period of 1 year is termed as expense, and the benefit and the amount incurred for purchasing for receiving a benefit that is exhausted for more than 1 year is termed as an asset. And one more simple term used in accounting is profit. What is profit? Let's move on to our vegetable business. So what I have said is I have sold the vegetables of 10 lakh, 20 lakhs. I have purchased it for, I had purchased it for 10 lakh. I had incurred the expense of rupees 5 lakh towards this. So finally, I sold the vegetables for 20 lakh. So my total expenses is rupees 15 lakh, and my total sales is 20 lakh. So what is the difference of 5 lakh? Is my profit. The excess of revenue to over its related expense during the period is a profit. So next term we have is gain. So this is also a confusing term. Like what is profit and what is gain? Is a profit and a gain same? No, it is not same, because profit that arises from the event which are not, which are incidental to the business, like which are not related to the direct or your core business, are termed as gain. Let me explain with an example. For example, I had purchased a vehicle, a car, 5 years ago. I had purchased it for 10 lakh. I had maintained it in a good condition. Now I have sold it for 12 lakh. So my general business is vegetable business. So I have purchased don't take car, it's let it be a truck. I have purchased a truck to carry on my, to bring the vegetables and sell the vegetables. I have purchased a truck. So 5 years ago I purchased a truck for 20 lakhs. Now after 5 years I have sold it for 22 lakhs. So what is the difference? 2 lakhs. I have gained 2 lakhs by selling my truck. But this selling the truck is not my regular business. My regular business is dealing with vegetables. So income earned by me by selling a truck is not a profit, but it is a gain, because it is not the income that I have received from the core business, but it is the income that I have earned in the uh, general in the which is in addition to the or incidental to my core business. So loss after profit, the opposite term of profit is generally the loss. What is loss? So in the previous example, I had purchased. Let's go to my vegetable business, which I have quoted as an example. I had purchased vegetables for rupees 10 lakh, had incurred an expense of 15 lakh. Later, I sold it for 20 lakh. So I had a profit of 5 lakh. But let's take the same example. Now I have purchased vegetables for 10 lakh. I had incurred an expense of 5 lakh. So the total expenses were 15 lakh. But due to market conditions, I sold it for 12 lakh. So now there is a negative difference of 3 lakh, because now what is it? It is nothing but loss for me. I have paid more to the goods, but I have sold it for a value lower than the at a value lower than the expenses that I had incurred for procuring those goods. So 3 lakhs will be the loss. So loss is the excess of expenses of period over its related revenue. So any if the revenue is lower than the total expenses, so it will be loss. Next basic term is voucher. Now think you go to purchase a television or a computer. What they will give is, after you purchase, they will give a invoice. That is nothing but a voucher. It is a proof of the documentary proof of the transaction that has taken place. Whenever, for example, you go to a shop, your mother gives you 100 rupees to buy something. You go there and you come to home and you say that you have purchased a material of 90 rupees. So your mother may not believe you that you have incurred 90 rupees. She may think the items were of 80 rupees. You may have told her that it's of 90 rupees. So you need a proof of the amount you have paid to the shopkeeper. So you may you may ask the shopkeeper to give you a bill. So it is nothing but the voucher. Voucher is nothing but documentary evidence in support of a transaction. Every transaction you make, the documentary support of the transaction is nothing but voucher. Goods. It is as simple as that. It refers to the product with the business is dealing. For example, if you take the vegetable business that I had considered as an example before, vegetable is a goods for me. I am dealing with the goods, vegetables. It's that itself is a goods for me. We have looked at the goods, and there may be a little bit complication about goods. So now let's look into it. You are a furniture dealer. You purchase the chairs, tables. It is a goods for you because you are dealing with the furniture. But what if I am a vegetable dealer? Will the purchase of furniture be a goods for me? No, because it is an asset for me. You need to look into the nature of business in order to determine what are the goods and what are the assets for a business. For a furniture dealer, purchase of a table chair is a goods, but for others, it is an asset. In the same way, if I am dealing with the stationery materials, if I have a stationery shop, purchase of stationery or books, pens, or anything like that will be a goods for me. Whereas if I am a vegetable dealer, I purchase the books, then it will be an expense for me. So it's important for us to look into the nature of business in order to determine what are the goods and what is an expense. So next term is drawing. So you can look in the picture. The owner is withdrawing the money and putting it in his pocket. Withdrawal of money from the business. Owner may have invested the money at the beginning of the business. he may have invested a huge amount, but while carrying on the business, he may need the money to carry on. He may need the money to for his personal use. So he may withdraw money from the business, or he may, for example, if I have a business, I may need money for my personal use. So I may take the money from my business because I have invested the money into business. So now I may take it out. So money withdrawn by the owner is termed as drawings. Next is purchase. As I said before, purchase is just a common term that we use in the normal course of life. Purchases are the total amount of goods procured by a business either on credit or on cash. That I've told you. You go to a shop, you purchase a book, you pay money. So it's a cash purchase. Same way, you go to the shop, you purchase a book, you say the shopkeeper that I will pay you later. So it's a credit purchase. So why you will purchase the goods? You may look here in the definition that purchase are the total amount of goods procured by a business on credit or on cash for use or sale. You may purchase the goods for your use, or you may purchase it to sell it to the third person. For example, if you take the example of vegetable business, I have purchased the vegetables from farmers not for my use but to sell it to the others. So it may be for my use or for my sale. If you think I have a business of steel, I am into the steel business. So I purchase iron ore. I purchase it for my use. I convert it into steel and later I sell it. So that I purchase the goods for my use. So purchase, you may purchase it for use or you may purchase it for sale. So the next term is stock. Stock is, I can look into the picture. It's very clear. Stock is nothing but the goods that is in your hand at the end of the accounting period. So I have a vegetable business. So whatever the vegetables I have at this point of time is an inventory or a stock for me. At the amounts, the stock that is lying at my business at the end of a financial year is a closing stock. Like at the 31st March, the amount of stock that is lying in my godown on 31st March will be my closing stock, and the amount of goods that is lying at any point of time is stock. So next term is discount. Discount is very clear, I think. Whenever you go to a shop, there will be a boards. If you look into the e-commerce websites, they'll be having huge discount programs. So let's look into the term discount. Discount is nothing but deduction in the sale price of a good. If you have even in your normal market, you go there. If the seller tells it is for 50 rupees, you give him 40 rupees, right? So 10 rupees is discount. So deduction in the price of the goods sold. If the material is of rupees 50, you buy it for rupees 40. So discount is further divided into two parts: trade discount and cash discount. Now, what is trade discount? You go to a shop, you purchase a material of 100 rupees, and he says, don't pay me 100 rupees, you pay me 90 rupees. So 10% is discount. So that is a trade discount. Discount that is offered by the seller at the point of sale. So in the same way, now you go to the same shop, you purchase a material worth rupees 100. Now you say him, I don't have the cash now, I will pay you later. At the same time, the seller will tell you that I will give you rupees 10 rupees discount if you pay me the money within 7 days. So here, when the seller gives you the discount, he gives you the discount when you pay him the money. So it is termed as cash discount. Why does he give the discount while you pay the cash? His intention is to recover the money as soon as possible, because if the money that is receivable to me is deferred for a long time, it will be difficult for him to carry on the business. So he will provide you the cash discount, looking at your credibility. And one more term is debtor. Debtor, and the next term we have creditor. Those are the related terms. debtors are the persons or the entities who owe to an enterprise an amount for buying goods and services for credit. So this term is very important. Buying goods and services for credit. See, look in the picture. A sold goods to B on credit. Now A is debtor to B. B is debtor to A. See, look here. Now B purchased goods from A on credit. So for A, B is a debtor to A. You go to a shop, you buy goods worth rupees 100. You don't pay now. You say I'll pay you after 10 days. So for the shopkeeper, you are the debtor because you owe money to the shopkeeper, but he intends to receive that money in a future date. So debtor is a person who owe to an enterprise an amount for buying the goods or services on credit. For buying, they have bought the goods on credit, so they owe an money. They have to pay the money. If not today, they have to pay it in future. So they are whenever you buy the goods for credit, you will be debtor. So next term is creditor. Creditors are the persons or the entities who have to be paid by an enterprise an amount for providing the enterprise goods services on credit. See, in the previous example, he sold the goods. Now I purchase the good. Whenever I purchase goods from a third party, I don't pay him. He is a creditor for me. He has given me a credit. Yeah, he said me, you don't pay now, you pay me later. Now I am a creditor. He is a creditor for me because I have not paid him. I have to pay him to the future. So if I don't pay today, even if I don't pay today, I have to pay him in future. So he is a creditor to me. So I request Sampurna Shiksha team to summarize it in Hindi.
This is the last slide up here.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm on. You can go to the first slide. So Pushpa will take slide by slide. Pushpa? Okay.
Yeah. Basic terms in accounting. Let him just get back to the slides. तो हम अकाउंट्स में जो अभी हमने सीखा था कि अकाउंट्स का डेफिनेशन क्या है और वो कैसे ट्रांजैक्शंस रिकॉर्ड किया जा सकता है. तो अभी टर्म्स है जो हम अकाउंटिंग में यूज करते हैं और एक एक का इनके एक एक मीनिंग होता है, तो उसी तरह से हम ये यूज करते हैं. सो एंटिटी का मतलब है उसका एक इंडिविजुअल एग्जिस्टेंस है, उसका अलग सा एग्जिस्टेंस है. इट इज टोटली डिफरेंट फ्रॉम द ओनर अलग होता है, बिजनेस अलग होता है, दोनों को जोड़ नहीं सकते हैं और इसके लिए उनका ट्रांजैक्शंस और उनका जो बही खाता है वो भी अलग अलग ही होता है. ट्रांजैक्शन का मतलब इट इज एन इवेंट इन्वॉल्विंग सम वैल्यू बिटवीन टू और मोर एंटिटीज. यानी दो एंटिटीज के बीच में जो ट्रांजैक्शन होता है, जो बही खाता होता है, उसको हम ट्रांजैक्शन बताते हैं. जैसे परचेस ऑफ गुड्स, हम कोई वस्तु खरीदने जाते हैं तो हम पैसे देते हैं. सो उसमें दो चीज होते हैं, एक गुड्स होते हैं और दूसरा पैसा होता है. वैसे हर ट्रांजैक्शन में दो एंटिटी होते हैं. कैन यू जस्ट चेंज द स्लाइड अपेक्ष. एसेट्स आर इकोनॉमिक रिसोर्सेस, यानी हमारे बिजनेस के लिए जो भी हमको चाहिए होता है उसको हम एसेट बोलते हैं. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, उसमें अगर सपोज यू आर हैविंग अ प्लांट एंड मशीनरी, बिल्डिंग, ये सब हमको एसेट होता है. गाड़ी, कार, और सपोज जैसे अपेक्ष ने हमेशा लिया है एग्जाम्पल ऑफ ए वेजिटेबल बिजनेस। सो वेजिटेबल बिजनेस के लिए अगर हम एक ट्रक लेते हैं, खरीदते हैं, जो हमको वो वेजिटेबल्स को एक जगह से दूसरे जगह को ट्रांसफर करने के लिए चाहिए होता है, तो उस ट्रक को हम एसेट बोलते हैं। तो उसमें करंट एसेट और नॉन करंट एसेट्स होता है। तो नॉन करंट एसेट्स आर एसेट्स जो हम वी आर नॉट यूजिंग इट विद इन अ पीरियड ऑफ 1 ईयर। उन लोग बोलते हैं एक ईयर, एक ही साल में हम उसको यूज करके खत्म नहीं करते हैं, उसको हम नॉन करंट एसेट बोलते हैं। और जो एसेट्स विच आर यूज्ड फॉर डेली पर्पसेस इन द यूजुअल ट्रांजैक्शन, हमारे बिजनेस के लिए जो हम यूज करते हैं, उसको हम करंट एसेट्स बोलते हैं। लायबिलिटीज वो जो होता है which are the debts that an enterpriser has to pay in some time in future, यानी हम किसी और के कर्जदार है। It is another word for कर्जदार, you can say. It is, they are current assets and current liabilities and non-current liabilities. Current liabilities are your creditors, जिसको हम फॉर एग्जाम्पल हम वेजिटेबल मार्केट में जाके हम खरीदते हैं vegetables, but you are going to pay it on the next day because you don't have money. So they are your current liabilities for which you are incurring for your business. Non-current liabilities, we are purchasing the asset. For that asset, you are paying it on a long term. That is called non-current asset liabilities. So liabilities can be divided into two. एक जो which we are within a short span of period, that is for 1 year, and the other one which is for more than 1 year. कैपिटल वो अमाउंट होता है जो हम जब हम बिजनेस चालू करने जाते हैं, चलो हम बिजनेस चालू करते हैं, हम सोचते हैं तो बिजनेस चालू करने के लिए हमें पैसा चाहिए ना, फर्स्ट व्हाट यू नीड पैसा, दैट पैसा इज नोन एज कैपिटल। जो हम बिजनेस चलाने के लिए या बिजनेस को स्टार्ट करने के लिए या बिजनेस को रखने के लिए, ऑन गोइंग रखने के लिए हम यूज करते हैं, इन्वेस्ट करते हैं, उसको हम बोलते हैं कैपिटल। वो किसी तरह से ला सकते हैं। कैपिटल कैन बी इन टर्म्स ऑफ मनी, या कोई बोलता है मैं मेरा ऑफिस देता हूँ बिजनेस चलाने के लिए, ऑफिस स्पेस देता हूँ, सो इट विल बी इन द फॉर्म ऑफ एसेट। और दूसरा बोलता है मैं ट्रक देता हूँ, मेरा ट्रक ले लो काम करने के लिए, सो दैट विल बी इन द फॉर्म ऑफ एसेट। सो इट कैन बी आइदर इन द फॉर्म ऑफ एसेट और मनी। सेल्स तो सबको मालूम है। सेल्स का मतलब क्या है? हम जब किसी को कुछ सेल करते हैं, कुछ बेचते हैं, तो हम उसको सेल्स बोलते हैं। द सेल्स फॉर इट कैन बी फॉर गुड्स, या तो हम सामान सेल करेंगे या तो हम अपना सर्विसेज सेल करेंगे। फॉर एग्जांपल डॉक्टर्स है, नहीं तो कारपेंटर्स है, नहीं तो लॉयर्स है, कोई भी है, उन लोग अपना सर्विस देते हैं और हम उनके सर्विस के लिए पेमेंट देते हैं। सो दे कैन बी, सेल्स कैन बी इन टू वेज, आइदर इन द फॉर्म ऑफ goods or services, or it can be cash. Similarly it can be cash sales या credit sales. Cash sales जो आप on the counter जाके जो खरीदते हैं उसको cash sales बोलते हैं। credit sales, credit में हम देते हैं। आजकल ऑनलाइन जो भी होता है, credit sales भी होता है, cash sales भी होता है। credit sales में हम EMI भरते हैं, है ना। रेवेन्यू क्या होता है? रेवेन्यू का मतलब अपने को मालूम ही है कि जब हम कुछ सेल करते हैं और हमको उसमें पैसा मिलता है, उसको हम रेवेन्यू बोलते हैं। तो जो भी हम अपना जो भी हम सेल करते हैं, फॉर एग्जांपल अपना वेजिटेबल बिजनेस ही ले लो, हम वेजिटेबल सेल करते हैं, तो वेजिटेबल सेल करके हमको जो पैसा मिलता है उसको हम रेवेन्यू बोलते हैं। या हम जो सर्विसेज रेंडर करके, सर्विसेज देके हमको जो पैसा मिलता है उसको हम रेवेन्यू बोलते हैं। एक्सपेंसेस तो अपने को मालूम ही है, उसका मतलब ही क्या है, जो हम एक्सपेंडिचर करते हैं, एक्सपेंस करते हैं फॉर अर्निंग रेवेन्यू। अगर रेवेन्यू पाने के लिए जो भी हम एक्सपेंस स्पेंड करते हैं, हम उसको एक्सपेंस बोलते हैं। रेवेन्यू के लिए अगर हम हमारा बिजनेस जो भी है उसके लिए हम यूज करते हैं तो उसको एक्सपेंस बोलते हैं। एग्जाम्पल दिया है रेंट, जो हम ऑफिस स्पेस है उसका रेंट, या जो हमने जो वर्कर्स रखे हुए हैं उनका वेजेस, जो स्टाफ है उनका सैलरीज, टेलीफोन चार्जेस, ये सब हम यूज करते हैं हमारा बिजनेस चलाने के लिए, उसके लिए हम उसको एक्सपेंस बोलते हैं। अभी एक्सपेंडिचर क्या है? एक्सपेंडिचर और एक्सपेंस ये दोनों बहुत नाजुक सा डिफरेंस है, दोनों में अंतर बहुत नाजुक है। एक्सपेंडिचर, परचेस ऑफ गुड्स और परचेस ऑफ मशीनरी आर एग्जांपल्स ऑफ एक्सपेंडिचर। यानी ये जो हम एक्सपेंस करते हैं ये शॉर्ट टर्म के लिए नहीं, ये लॉन्ग टर्म के लिए, एक साल में हम यूज नहीं कर सकते। अभी वेजेस जो चाहिए या सैलरीज जो हम देते हैं वर्कर्स के लिए वो हमको हर महीना देना पड़ता है, बट जो हम मशीनरी परचेस करेंगे या जो लॉरी परचेस करेंगे अपना वेजिटेबल बिजनेस के लिए, वो हम हर टाइम एक्सपेंस नहीं, तो उसको हम एक्सपेंडिचर बोलते हैं। तो एसेट को जो परचेस, एसेट के लिए, एसेट पाने के लिए जो भी हम एक्सपेंस करते हैं उसको एक्सपेंडिचर बोलते हैं। ओके, प्रॉफिट, प्रॉफिट तो हम सबको पता है क्या है। कोई भी चीज 10 रुपए में खरीदो, 15 रुपए में बेचो, उसको 5 रुपए का प्रॉफिट बोलते हैं। इसका एक्सप्लेनेशन तो किसी को जरूरी नहीं है। गेन, भी प्रॉफिट तो बता दिया, अभी गेन क्या है? गेन या प्रॉफिट में भी एकदम छोटा अंतर है। गेन का मतलब ये है जो हम बिजनेस में हम करते हैं उसके लिए हम, उसमें नहीं मिलता है ये प्रॉफिट। फॉर एग्जांपल हमने ये वेजिटेबल बिजनेस, वेजिटेबल जो बेच के हमको जो पैसा 10 रुपए का वेजिटेबल लेके हम 15 रुपए में बेचते हैं उसको 5 रुपीज का प्रॉफिट बोलते हैं। अभी यही वेजिटेबल बिजनेस में अगर हमने हमारा वो लॉरी बेच दिया और उसका पैसा आया तो उसको हम गेन बोलते हैं, बिकॉज इट इज नॉट समथिंग which you are doing in the normal course of your transaction, not which is you are doing for the regular business. ये थोड़ा हटके है। अभी एक कोर्ट में हमारा एक केस चल रहा था, केस जीत गया, हमको उसके लिए पैसा मिल गया, तो उसको हम गेन बोलेंगे, प्रॉफिट नहीं बोलेंगे। लॉस, लॉस क्या होता है? जब हम 15 रुपये का सामान को 10 रुपये में बेचेंगे उसको लॉस बोलते हैं। वाउचर, वाउचर ये टर्म है जो एविडेंस देता है, प्रूफ देता है। कोई भी ट्रांजैक्शन हम करते हैं तो उसका प्रूफ, वो ट्रांजैक्शन का प्रूफ या एविडेंस को हम वाउचर बोलते हैं। अपेक्ष ने हमको एग्जांपल दिया था, हम जाते हैं, यू आर गोइंग टू ए शॉप एंड बाइंग ए वॉशिंग मशीन और ए टीवी, सो व्हाट यू विल गेट ए इनवॉइस, इनवॉइस मिलता है, बिल मिलता है। उस इनवॉइस को एविडेंस के प्रूफ के तरह से हम पेश कर सकते हैं, तो उसको हम वाउचर बोलते हैं। वो दो तरह के होते हैं, एक कैश मेमो भी होता है, जब हम दुकान में जाके हम दवाई खरीदेंगे या कोई प्रोविजन खरीदेंगे, वो जो हमको देता है उसको हम कैश मेमो बोलते हैं, क्योंकि हम कैश देके उसको ले लेते हैं, तो उसको कैश मेमो बोलते हैं। या कैश मेमो और इनवॉइस दोनों वाउचर के, तो वाउचर के काम पे आता है। गुड्स, गुड्स, व्हाट आर गुड्स? गुड्स यानी जो सामान हम अपने बिजनेस के लिए करते हैं उसको हम गुड्स बोलते हैं। तो वेजिटेबल वेंडर के लिए वेजिटेबल गुड्स होता है, एक फर्नीचर दुकान वाले के लिए फर्नीचर गुड्स होता है, एक स्टील वाले के लिए स्टील गुड्स होता है। तो इसको सब जो हम बिजनेस करना चाहते हैं उसको हम गुड्स बोलते हैं। वही फर्नीचर डीलर के लिए ड्राइंग्स, ड्राइंग्स का मतलब क्या है? ड्राइंग्स यानी विड्रॉल, हम लोग निकालते हैं पैसा। अभी बिजनेस तो हमने चालू किया है खुद, तो बिजनेस का पैसा भी अपना ही बिजनेस, अपना ही पैसा है, मगर नहीं, बिजनेस हमने पहले ही देखा था उन लोग का अलग एंटिटी होता है। बिजनेस अलग है और हम खुद अलग है, बिजनेस का अलग एंटिटी है, हम अलग आदमी है। तो बिजनेस से जब भी हम पैसा निकालते हैं उसको हम ड्राइंग्स बोलते हैं। So when we are removing business, when we are removing money from आवर बिजनेस फॉर पर्सनल यूज, जो हम खुद के यूज के लिए हम निकालते हैं, उसको ड्राइंग्स बोलते हैं। परचेसेस, परचेसेस इन जनरल टर्म हमको पता है, हम दुकान में जाके हम पैसा देते हैं, कुछ सामान करते हैं, उसको हम बोलते हैं हम परचेस करके आए हैं, हम परचेस किया है। तो ये परचेसेस हमारे बिजनेस के लिए जब हम करते हैं, वो दो तरह के होते हैं, एक कैश के होते हैं और क्रेडिट के होते हैं। कैश के परचेसेस वो होते हैं जो हम पैसा दे के, कैश दे के परचेस करते हैं, उसको कैश परचेसेस बोलते हैं। और जो हम पैसा कुछ फ्यूचर डेट में आगे जाके देने वाले हैं, उसको हम क्रेडिट परचेसेस बोलते हैं। और ये परचेसेस सिर्फ हमारे बिजनेस जो करते हैं उसके लिए हम परचेस करते हैं, फॉर द बिजनेस, दैट इज कॉल्ड परचेसेस। स्टॉक, स्टॉक का मतलब क्या है? स्टॉक जो हमारे पास पड़ा हुआ बिजनेस के लिए हम जो यूज करते हैं, सेल करने के लिए जो हम रखा है, वो सेल नहीं हुआ इस साल, तो हमारे पास जो बाकी पड़ा है उसको स्टॉक बोलते हैं। उसमें जो भी है वो गुड्स होगा, उसका स्पेयर्स होगा, सब इंक्लूड करके हम उसको, जो अनसोल्ड है उसको हम स्टॉक बोलते हैं और उसको अकाउंट्स में ले लेते हैं। वो किस तरह से लेते हैं वो आगे जाके हम देखेंगे, इसको हम क्लोजिंग स्टॉक बोलते हैं। डिस्काउंट, डिस्काउंट दो तरफ के होते हैं। डिस्काउंट तो हम सबको मालूम है डिस्काउंट क्या होता है। ये दो तरफ के होते हैं, एक ट्रेड डिस्काउंट है और एक कैश डिस्काउंट। ट्रेड डिस्काउंट है जो अगर हम कभी कभी हम जाते हैं खरीदने के लिए, तो हमको यू विल सी ऑन द दिस, हम ड्रेस खरीदने के लिए जाते हैं, 1 for ₹100, 3 for ₹50, 300 नहीं 250 के लिए 3। So that discount which is gone for the purpose of your business, it is inside, that is called a trade discount. कैश डिस्काउंट क्या है? जो हम कैश देख के खरीदते हैं, बिकॉज वी आर गिविंग कैश, ही इज गिविंग अस अ डिस्काउंट, दैट इज कॉल्ड कैश डिस्काउंट। Debtors, what are debtors? Debtors are the people who owe you money. यानी हम बिजनेस करते हैं, अगर कोई हमको पैसा देना है, हमारा कर्जदार, उसको हम डेटर्स बोलते हैं। इन शॉर्ट दैट मीन्स हम अभी ए बी को सेल करता है, ए बी को सेल करता है और बी ए का डेटर हो गया, ही इज अ डेटर टू ए। ए के बुक्स में बी डेटर हो गया क्योंकि उसके पास सामान है, वो लिया है सामान, तो वो डेटर हो गया, इसके बुक्स में ये डेटर हो गया। नेक्स्ट क्रेडिटर्स, क्रेडिटर्स डेटर्स का ऑपोजिट हो गया। हम किसी को पैसा देना है हमको, तो उसको क्रेडिटर बोलते हैं। डेटर हमारा कर्जदार है और क्रेडिटर हम किसी के कर्जदार है, तो हम क्रेडिटर बन गए। Thank you, Apex.
If you have any queries, you can ask now.
I hope everything is clear. You can now.
Can you? Okay, I'll read out the question so that it will be clear for every student. One question was received: is invoice and voucher a same thing?
Invoice and voucher.
Yes. So they want just an explanation. What is the difference between an invoice and a voucher?
Voucher is invoice itself is a voucher, right? Whenever you purchase a material, you receive an invoice. It itself is a proof of a transaction. So invoice itself is a voucher. Invoice is not different from voucher. Invoice itself is a proof of a evidence of a transaction. So invoice itself is a voucher.
Okay, but we could say invoice is generally like a sale invoice or a purchase invoice which we get, and vouchers could be for any transactions which you either a set also or payment of wages also. Everything we can have a voucher for that. Next question is repeat the difference between gain and profit. Difference between gain and profit.
And profit. Profit is basically the excess of revenue or the expenses that you earn from your core business. As I had given the example of vegetable business. I purchase vegetable, I sell the vegetable. For example, I purchase vegetable for rupees 100. I purchase 1 kg tomato for rupees 100. I sell it for rupees 150. So 50 rupees is profit for me. So in the same vegetable business, I have a truck so that I can transport the vegetables. So I think now the truck is creating so much problem for me. So I'm selling the truck. So I had brought it for rupees 2 lakh. Now I'm selling it for rupees 2 lakh 50. So the difference that I had received from selling the truck, it's also a profit for me. But it is not my core business. I'm not into the dealing of trucks. I'm into vegetable business. So the income that I've earned from sale of truck is a gain. So the difference, the basic difference between a profit and gain is profit is earned from the core business, whereas gain is the income generated through incidental to the business, which is not related to your core business, but in the process of business you have earned it.
Next question. What is the difference? What is a capital account? Question is by Mr. Uttam.
Before talking about capital accounts, let's talk about what is capital. So capital is the amount invested by the owner into the business. Capital account is the account where the amount invested by the investor is recorded in the account. But I think the capital account, all those things we'll be dealing in the later classes where we have a journal, we have ledger, we have to cover those topics. Right? At that time, we'll be dealing with the same things.
Okay. One more. Explain trade discount again.
Yeah. Yeah, we have trade discount is nothing but whenever you buy a goods, the seller will, for example, you think generally you buy 100 kg of material, you go to a seller and tell him that you now will be purchasing 200 kg, but you need some reduction in the price of that good. So the discount offered in the during the trade, like for example, as ma'am told, you go to purchase a saree. They say if you purchase one, you have to pay 300 rupees. If you purchase two, you have to pay 250 each for a saree. So 50 rupees, the reduction that you have got uh, by buying an additional unit or buying additional saree is a 50 rupees discount you have got. The reduction in the sale value is itself a trade discount.
What is the difference between stock and inventory?
There is no difference between stock and inventory. Stocks and inventory is one and the same. They're one and the same.
Okay, students, don't leave the Zoom group. We have a MCQ test for you all, which the link will share after we answer all the question and answer. Okay, just hold on. Okay, one question, can you explain entity again?
Entity.
Yeah.
Fine. Entity is nothing but the business organization. We'll be dealing with it in next class. In next class, we'll be having general principles of accounting, where we'll study about different entity concept. Like entity is different from a business. If you specifically talk about entity is nothing but a business organization. Business organization is termed as entity in accounting terms, and that's it.
Okay, can you just zoom in the screen to the full screen and we go to the first slide of the difference between measurement, record, identification. Just a little brush up because that was covered in this part, so I want students to go Yes, Shivani, we will share you the course structure and the topics of the 10 sessions in the WhatsApp group and in the Zoom chat in few minutes. To the first slide. Yes. After the definition of accounting. Can you make it full screen?
Identification.
Yes, yes. Just identification, measurement, record, just a breather.
Identification is nothing but it's determining what are the transactions that you need to record. Because in a general business environment, various transactions will be taking place. Like if you think of a business, you will be purchasing the goods, you will be selling the goods, you will appoint a new employee, you will change the managerial policies, your business policies. You will be dealing with many things. So it's important for you to recognize what are the transactions that ought to be recorded in the books of accounts. So identification is a process wherein you determine what are the transactions to be recorded. So it is a process. It is a big foremost process where you have to identify what are to be recorded. So next one is I have given you the examples which are recorded in books of accounts, not recorded. So some activities like you appoint a new manager to your business, you appoint a new staff. These are also the events that are taking place in the business. It also has a major impact on your business. If your manager is very good, your business maybe you can carry on the business in a smooth way. But if the manager is inefficient, it will affect your business. So, appointment of manager or staff is also the important event, but it cannot be recorded in your books of accounts because they are not monetary terms. So, whenever you make purchase or sale or any other pay salary to your employees, it is also important event as it can be measured in terms of money, so you can record it in your books of accounts. So identification is basically the a step wherein you determine what are the transactions you have to record. So next thing is the measurement. So now you have determined the transaction which you have to record, right? You said that you have made the sales. Now sales is an item which you have to record. But what is the amount of sale? It is a process. It is a measurement where you measure the value of the sales. So what is the you will not record it in kgs or units. You will record it in monetary terms. So you will measure the transaction, measure the identified transaction monetary terms. So next one is recording. You identify the transactions at the beginning stage. What are the transactions to be recorded? Out of the many list of transactions, you sort out the transactions that are to be recorded. Later, you measure the transaction. What is the monetary value of that transaction? You measure it. Then you record it in your books of accounts. How will you record? You will record it in monetary terms. Like as I said before, only those transactions which are in monetary terms will be recording it. So you will record the transaction in a monetary terms in a chronological order. So I have said it chronological order means according to the date wise. You will record the transaction in according to the dates. So you will not mix up the transactions as you wish, but you have to record in a according to the dates. So it's a chronological order. First, at the first stage, you will identify the transaction. Later, you will measure it in terms of money. Later, you will record it in your books of accounts. And the fourth one is communication. You record the total purchases, you record the sales, you record other expenses that you have incurred, you record other gains that you have earned in the process of business. At the final stage, at the end of the year, you need to say what is the result of your business. You have put so much of effort into your business, you have done so much of activities, you have incurred so much of expenses, you have invested so much of capital into your business. At the end of the year, you need to know what is the result of your business, right? Even if you think you write the exam, you put in so much of effort, at the final stage, you need to know the result of the exam. So how the result will be announced? Basically, it will be announced in the website of the body which conducts the exam. You go there, you put in your register number, then you will get the result. You will get the result in a subject wise, right? How much marks you earned out of how much. So in the same way, you carry on the business, you invest money, you put effort, you manage so many things in a year. At the final stage, you need to know what is the result of business. So as in the same way, as your exam results are announced in a proper format, in the same way, results of your business entity has to also to be uh, communicated to the interested persons in a proper format. They are nothing but the financial statement. We'll deal with the financial statements on the last class. It will basically on the fifth session of the basic accounting. We'll be having trial balances, uh, profit and loss accounts, balance sheets. These are the statements wherein you will know the
Yes.
results of the business entity and the position of the business entity.
Okay, one last question we take before sharing the test link. Some little more clarity on debtor and creditor. So because some people are really new, they want to know what is the difference in the term debtor and creditor.
Yeah, debtors are the persons who owe money to an enterprise. See, for example, I go to a shop. I go to a shop. To my the shopkeeper is my relative. I go there. I purchase a goods worth rupees 10,000. I tell him that I don't have the money right now. I will pay you after 10 days. So how will he record me? He had to remember, right? I have to pay him that I have to pay him 10,000 rupees. If he just keeps in his mind, if he forgets, then it will be a problem. So he has to record it. It is the item which has to be recorded. If you put those criteria like identification, measurement, it falls under the criteria where it has to be recorded, right? So I have entered into a transaction. The shopkeeper has entered into a transaction with me. So now he has to record it. How will he record? How will he treat me? So I am an asset to him, right? Because I have to pay him some money. Because I owe him an money. I am a debtor to him because he has sold me goods. He has given me the goods worth rupees 10,000. I have not paid. I have to pay it in 10 days. So how will he record? He will treat me as a debtor. I am a person who owe him an money. So we'll be dealing with the journal entries or entries about debtors in later classes. Now it's better if we just understand the term, and later we'll be dealing with the entries. When we deal with the entries, it will be further more clear, like why
Yes.
we need the definition, what are debtors, how will we record it. It will be more clear at that point of time. Next one is creditor. In the same way, think my relative has a shop. I am a supplier of material. I go to him. I supply him a material worth rupees 10,000. I give him a goods worth rupees 10,000. As he is my relative or he deals with me regularly, he says me that he doesn't have money at this point of time. He will pay me few days later. So what am I to him now? Now I have supplied him a goods, right? I have supplied him a goods. He has not paid money. How will he record me? He has to record it in the books of accounts. He will record me as creditor because he has to pay me in a future date. He owe money to me. In the previous case, where we were dealing about with the debtor, he had to receive the money. Now the business entity has to pay me the money. So this is the difference between debtor and a creditor. Hope it is clear.
Yes. So now students and participants, I have shared the test link in the chat box and also in the respective WhatsApp group in which you are present. Kindly go click on the link, start giving the test, write email ID from which you have registered for the course and go ahead giving the test. And once you submit, you will also be able to see your score which you have scored in this. Okay. Very good. So there are some people who are not part of any WhatsApp group. So I am sharing a WhatsApp group link. Join. If you are not in a part of any WhatsApp group, you are not getting the Zoom link or the Facebook live link. Next thing I'm sharing again. Shared. Okay. Apesh, you can move to the last thank you slide because people are giving the test. from Team Sampurna Shiksha, I would really like to thank our presenter for the day, Mr. Apeksh, for giving such a valuable presentation and giving an insight to the basic of accounting terms to all our participants. Thank you, and hope you
Thank you.
enjoyed teaching our participants. If you're
It was
not
a great
there,
experience teaching you.
yeah. Any other doubts you can still ask. We are here. So the WhatsApp group link and the test link both have been shared now. And this test is for your benefit, is for your understanding how much you have understood from today's lecture and where you can improvise or where you can rethink. So please go ahead and do it. I'm sharing the test link on the Facebook comments also, so the viewers who are watching it on Facebook can give the test link. Okay, any other queries? Very good. We are happy that you all have majorly scored 10 on 10, 9 on 10. So this is the basics which we have covered. We will go ahead and try to cover all the aspects which you should know before we move on to the Tally software. So make sure that these classes are important. It is not just that you are attending directly the practical sessions. I'm also sharing a file with our portion. Yes, you can see. So this is our portion which we will be covering during the first 5 sessions. So we are all ready to take you to the journey from the basic of accounts to the basics of Tally. Jigna, can you mention which link do you want? Okay. So in the next class, we start directly with the next session, which would be, if you want, we could just revise. It would be general principles of accounting. So we would learn that from our examiners. Okay. Okay, now I would like to share you a small video clip for which the audio was not present in the start. So I would just like to replay it.
Alone, we can do so little. Together, we can do so much. Individually, we are one drop. Together, we are an ocean. Come, board the train of goodness with Sampurna Shiksha. Our wagons are education, skill development, career and jobs, scholarships, and volunteering. How can you be a part of this journey? 1. Be a volunteer for teaching, content making, social media, photography, project management. Your talent in our platform. 2. Be a mediator and help us connect with schools, villages, groups to create a difference and help them grow. 3. Be a skill facilitator. Your skill, our students. Let the learning begin. In learning, you teach, and in teaching, you learn. 4. Be a sponsor. A generous giving in a small way will mold lives and bring smiles to many. 5. Be a mentor and motivator. We kindle young talents to grow. Be a mentor and inspire them. We rise by lifting others. Holistic education for all. So stay connected with us. Visit www.sampurnashiksha.in and follow us on social media. The best of wealth is education.
Okay. Yes, now it's officially I close today's session. If you still have doubts, you can ask in the chat box. We'll be there for more 5 minutes. And any suggestions which you want to give, you want to increase the speed, decrease the speed, any language issues, any suggestions, we are open. Kindly write it in the chat box so that we can work on it for the next session and try to give you more. Course structure has been sharing it again. You just share my screen with the course structure. That would be better. Yes. So this is the course structure which we're having for the first 5 sessions of the theory part basically. And then in the next 5 sessions, all these topics would be incorporated how to use it in Tally. So this is the course structure that we are going to follow. Okay. Kavita, you can go again and do the test, submit again if you did not submit. Rohan is asking what is the difference between record and identification. Okay. Apex, can you just give them an insight?
Yeah, identification is a process where you identify what transaction to record and what are the transactions that are not to be recorded. Recording is a process where you record the transaction that you have identified in a monetary terms.
Okay. Somebody is asking, will you be teaching practically in ERP? Definitely. The last 5 sessions would be totally practically based in Tally ERP module. So don't worry about that. A difference between voucher and a ledger. We will come to that when we learn journal and ledger on 9th July. Okay. Now I would like to invite Lata. Are you there? I'm unmuting you. Just give a formal vote of thanks and then we conclude the class. Yes, Lata.
We thank all the participants and the presenter, Mr. Kalpesh, Vaidehi, and all the team Sampurna Shiksha. And I hope we will have a great session for all the days, that is 2nd, 7th, 9th, 14th, 16th. All the sessions would be a great session and a very valuable session so that the Tally class can be had very easily. All the concepts should be clear by then. Thank you.
Thank you to the team Jito for such an amazing participation and support. We look forward to the next class soon. Okay, I officially close this class and I'm closing the group. Thank you. Divya Jain, if you did the test but did not submit, you can go again and submit the test. So any participants who did not submit the test to take a score, you can go and submit the test again. No issues. Thank you, Apex sir.
Thank you.